round series. That pristine record is in jeopardy unless the Lakers can rally. It's win or go home for the Lakers tonight versus the Suns. It's tip-off from Staples Center coming up at 7:30 right here on Spectrum Sportsnet. As we say hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. I'm Allie Clifton, joined by the one and only Hall of Famer, big game, James Worthy, 7-time champ, Robert Horry. Trudell Brez will join us in a bit. Geeter coming later. Fans may be panicking, my friends, but the two of you have 10 rings combined. So I ask you, how are you feeling coming into Game 6?
You know, as a former player, man, I'm ready to fight. You know, I feel good. We're down 3-2. It's a must-win. You had a very poor performance all around in the last game. You're the world champions until you're dethroned. You may be fatigued. You may have injuries. But you got to put it in your mind that tonight we're going to change some things and win the game, whatever it takes. Defense, blood, sweat, and tears. Let's do it.
You got to come into this game confident and cocky. Ooh. Because you got to go out there and take advantage of the situation. You got to seize the moment. And if these guys are going to sit back and let the game come to me, you can't do that. You know, you look around the league, every guy who's been phenomenal have seized the moment. Luka seized the moment. Dame time seized the moment. So these guys got to be aggressive. Phoenix Suns is looking like they're a great defensive team. Put the pressure on them. Go at them. Make them understand who you are and say, hey, it's going to be a different game in Game 5.
We here at Spectrum Sportsnet do not promote bullying, but you got to play bully ball tonight.
Yes, amen.
Bully ball.
We need to clip this and send it to the Laker locker room just before tip-off. Because as has been the norm for the purple and gold all season, we get started with a look at the injury report. Good news, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope will play.
Yes.
Anthony Davis, per Chris Haynes, though listed as a game-time decision with that left groin strain, Chris Haynes says that he intends to play here in Game 6. And before we get to Anthony Davis, Sean's also saying, guys, that Marc Gasol will get the start. So more on that in a minute, but let's first start with Anthony Davis. You don't know how healthy he will be, but either way, you'd imagine that having Anthony Davis out there on the floor is a good thing. Big game.
It's the best news and will be the best thing. However, if he's not 100%, you know, that if he can control what he does without getting injured, you know, that's one thing. He might not have everything, but he might have enough to give his team a lift. There's no more waiting. There's not another game to wait for. This is not Game 2 or Game 3 where you got another game or two to wait for. So I don't want Anthony Davis to further injure himself more severely, but I know players have played, you know, through pain a little bit. And if they're medically cleared, you know, if they can go out and give the team something. If not, if he's going to be out there laboring and hurting the team more than he's helping, then I can't see him playing.
Yeah, the good thing about it, if he does play, you know, he has this, you know, and I say this is no dumbest game down. And what I mean by that, just go to the basics. Don't try to do anything fancy because you can still be basic with a growing injury. Because if he goes to the 5, Ayton's not going to be on the wing trying to cross him up. Okay, you got to say, okay, guys, I cannot switch on these screening rolls. I got to get back and just be big, and you got to get over the top, and hopefully everything will work out. So with AD, the good thing about him being a center with a growing pull, he can be basic. He doesn't have to go out there and try to put people on the skates and handle the rock. Give the ball up, run to the block, and just be basic. Jump hook people to death, you know, reverse, all this kind of stuff. So, you know, dumb your game down. That means take all the fancy stuff out and just make it basic. And I think he can still play if he can play.
And as we know, when it comes to the playoffs, the name of the game is adjustments. Frank Vogel, it appears, will be starting Marc Gasol, someone who's familiar next to Anthony Davis. You like the IQ from him out there. Rob, you've talked about it. Him staying in that position could be big for the Lakers.
Yeah, and it's funny. I didn't know that till just now. So that's looked like if Anthony plays, that's in the perfect position because now you bring in Gasol outside instead of, you know, AD being outside and Drummond being inside, now you got Gasol. You got AD who can roam on the inside. And, okay, Gasol, we know Gasol probably can't guard, a 4 guy or a 3 guy, but at least he's really good on pick and rolls.
Yes.
And Ayton can, help out. So I'm hoping that AD can play because we're going to need him.
That's what I was going to say. On pick and rolls, Rob, he's really good at maintaining his distance and also being effective when you come at him. He has that massive body. He knows how to play the game vertically without fouling as much. So, yeah, and if he starts to knock down 2 threes, that's going to be contagious for the rest of the team. He's proven he can do that. I love this choice. And then Drummond, if he comes off the bench, that might give him another insight, a whole nother look. He might be able to dominate, from that position.
Yeah,
Bottom line.
It's also with Drummond, I think when Drummond comes off the bench, the crew he comes out with is more of a pick and roll type of crew, so that'd be more conducive to his game.
Look, bottom line, it's win or go home. Just as we said at the start of the show, you two talked about it, broke it down, what their mentality should be. I think Frank said it best, too, the other night. You're going to learn exactly who this team is and who they want to be after a night like tonight. But the thing is when you look at the guys, the champions in that locker room, outside of LeBron James, which this is very interesting, they haven't faced elimination. They didn't face elimination games last year. LeBron is the only one coming in with this kind of experience. Yeah,
and I got to tell you, man, I remember winning my first one in '85. There's something subconscious that said, okay, you're not really supposed to repeat, even though you're really trying to. And we lost in '86 because we just kind of got disconnected, and Houston Rockets beat us in the Western Conference Finals. So when you're young and you win your first one, you get a big contract or something like that. I'm talking about young guys like Kuz, who really needs to step it up. You've been in the bubble, you're tired. It's tougher, not that you're giving up, but it's tougher to conjure it up. So that's where they are tonight. They got to be mind over matter and get with it.
Yeah, it's a mental thing. I've said it plenty of times. It boils down to how your mental is. Mm-hmm. Are you ready for this challenge? And that's the thing about being a champion. I remember with my back-to-back championship with Houston, it was like the first championship, we this doesn't count. Because in this day and age, and because of what the Bulls did, it only matters if you go back-to-back. That's when you're a true champion. Yeah. And then, I get to the Lakers, we're like, it only counts if you go back-to-back because we got the team. And so, and it's just funny how when you have that mindset, you can go out and accomplish anything you want to. And I know this team is not the same team from last year. And so, but you have to go out there like, yo, man, our championship last year, it didn't count because it only counts if you go back-to-back because that's what the great teams do.
That's exactly what happened to our mentality. I mean, Magic had won one in '80, and they won another in '82, and they won another, and so it was like routine, and then the history never been done in like 20 years, 19 years, and that was the mission. So you're right, Rob. Winning one is, but yeah.
But as you guys know, to win one, it's hard. Let alone two, let alone back-to-back, let alone 3+. But if there's a time, like Marquise Morris said, it's not that hard. You would say that. Their back's against the wall. Right now is a good time to use your championship DNA. Keep it here for Game 6 at 3:30 right here on Spectrum Sportsnet. For the latest on tonight's must-win game, let's get you live to Staples Center. Lakers reporter Mike Trudell is standing by with more. Hey, Mike.
Hey, what's up, Allie? Welcome to Staples Center. So, look, I ideally would get a chance to ask about X's and O's or the emotions of a potential final game of a series with the Lakers. They're back against the wall. Of course, they don't want it to go like that, but I feel like it's been all about injuries, right? That's what these pre-game sessions with Frank Vogel have been about, and this is no different, trying to find out as much as we can about Anthony Davis, about Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. So that's where we started with Coach Vogel a few moments ago.
KCP is a go. He will play, and Anthony's still in the process of trying to loosen up the groin, and still has to meet with the team doctor to be cleared. But he's doing everything he can to be in there. We don't know yet.
Frank, just to follow up on AD, any improvement? You said it's gotten a little better every day, but anything just from the last couple days?
Yeah, I mean that's where it's at. I mean, he tried to do some movements yesterday, and some he could, some he couldn't. And, they continue to work on it to try to get it a little bit better today, and that's what he keeps saying is it's a little bit better each day, and, we'll see where it's at.
So do you then again have the 2 game plans, like the one with AD and the one without AD?
3, one without KCP too. but he's in now, so that activates that one.
All right, and then, Frank, I know you don't want to give away rotations and such and lineups at this point, but did you see something in all of the various groups that you thought could work out better the way that Phoenix is playing? Is there something that you feel confident in going to in this pivotal?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to draw from that last game, but there's some ways that we want to do some things slightly differently to attack these guys, and you guys will see that play out tonight.
Dan Warhe.
Frank, when it comes to trying to figure out if you want to make a lineup change at this stage of a series, like what are the factors and how difficult is it to make a change?
It's not difficult. Everybody understands that each game is going to be different throughout the series. There's going to be adjustments. It's a chess match, and all of our players understand that. And what goes into it, the analysis of the previous game. Where are we not performing well enough, and how can we improve that area? Whether it's matchups, whether it's